Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the PHLY Eagles Kickoff Show live from the Xfinity Lounge and presented by Bet365 and Ashley. It's Black Friday. We are here. Bo Wulf, Jamie Lynch. We've got a lot coming your way. We're going to hear from EJ Smith live at the link. We're going to check in with Fran to break down what to expect in this matchup between 8-3 teams, and we are going to sit down with the man of the day, Malcolm Jenkins, who is being inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame today. Awesome stuff. Plenty coming your way. But first, I got to tell you, I'm rocking a little PHLY merch here. You too can jump in on the action. Today is the day. Black Friday deals all across the PHLY All-City networks. 30 to 90% off. So don't miss out and support us. Make us look good. That's all.
Please.
Jamie, how you doing?
My children need it. They're starving. You got to go support the Black Friday sale.
Coffee's not going to pay for themselves.
But seriously, some great stuff, some great deals going on. I'm doing great. It's a nice day for football out. It's a little bit windy.
Ooh, it is nippy out there.
Yeah, and there's some of the gear for Black Friday across all of our markets. Yes, it is a bit nippy out there, a little bit windy. Yeah, so the passing game.
Oh, you know those Bears are going to be right at home, Jamie. They come from the Windy City.
Do you know it's not the wind that the Windy City is named after? It's those damn politicians. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have a distinct outside advantage today because Chicago was they were birthed in the darkness of cold and wind. So there's no real advantage there. But overall, feeling pretty good. I was just watching our CHGO Bears counterpart. As much as we feel locally like this is a big find out kind of who you are trajectory, they feel the same way out in Chicago. This is a big one for the Bears today as well. We'll get into it.
They're a team that is, the advanced numbers. I'm not a fan of this Bears team. They've won a lot of one-score games.
Yeah.
They've been outscored. Those things would tell you that they're more like, the 18th to 20th best team in the NFL, but they're 8-3. They found a way so far. And I'll tell you what, Caleb Williams, you talk about arm strength, playing through the wind. He's certainly got it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like the football fan in me, removed from fandom of today's game, is interested to watch like a full 4 quarters of Caleb Williams because I haven't had many of those opportunities to do so. Like occasionally the primetime games, but you come and you go. Like today, I'm locked in for 4 quarters of Caleb Williams. He's certainly taken a step this year with Ben Johnson. If I'm Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams today, I know who I'm targeting every time they're on the field today, and that would be one Sidney Brown.
Sidney Brown, yes, with Drew Mukuba on injured reserve. Sidney Brown will get the start today in the secondary. But when we talked 5 days ago, when they lost to the Cowboys, we thought there was a chance in this game they were going to be missing 3 guys in the secondary. And so for Reed Blankenship to be playing in this game and Adoree Jackson to be playing in this game, you feel much better about Vic Fangio's ability to cover for one weakness. And I am curious to see what happens in base defense.
Yeah, you said this at the market the other day. You piqued my interest.
Yeah, because I think the Bears, they play a lot of heavy personnel, so I think the Eagles will get to play in base today a good bit. And to me, I would have Cooper DeJean at safety in the base defense and Adoree Jackson on the field. I would trust Adoree Jackson over Sidney Brown, and we know that Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship got a ton of reps together at safety in the summer.
Yeah, this goes back to training camp where they toyed around with Coop back there. So I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. The less Sidney Brown on the field today. We talked about Jameis Winston being a chaos agent last week on the show. Sidney Brown is a chaos agent, but not the good kind.
So is C.J. Gardner-Johnson, to be fair.
Yeah, he is, but a better player.
Couple chaos agents.
Yeah, and CJ is. I'm curious to see what he does today. Has he tried to poke the bear a little bit because he got into it?
Are we ever going to find out what he said to get kicked out of that game last year? I want to know.
Yeah, I do want to know. But I'm curious what he's got up his sleeve today. I wonder if there's an ex-teammate he doesn't like that maybe he confronts, or somebody opened their mouth and he didn't like
Certainly
it.
possible.
We'll see.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Great. Yeah, a lot of fun. A little too much bourbon.
I mean, what are you going to do?
What can you do?
But you said they had a nice collection. You had no choice.
Yeah, my cousin's got, a stockpile of bourbon. I had to sample.
Not going to drink itself.
Yeah. How about yourself?
It was good. Yeah.
Everybody in the chat, hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Let's hit that thumbs up for Thanksgiving. It's good vibes.
What was the best thing you ate?
Ooh, there was an ice cream pie.
Ice cream pie?
Yeah, that was pretty damn strong. The smoked turkey was probably the king of the show. And I'm such a sucker for the cheap canned cranberry just smashed on top of like the mashed potatoes and stuff. I was
very happy with the cranberry sauce I made yesterday. Very good. Yeah. Jane helped, so that was good.
Okay. Nice. Good work, Jane.
She got to help with the cranberry sauce. Keiki got to help with the sweet potato casserole with the marshmallows. I mean, little marshmallows on top. He's going to love that.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Let's check in with EJ Smith now at the link as he tells us what's going on at blustery Lincoln Financial Field. EJ Smith with his Chiefs red. How you doing, EJ?
I was wondering if you were gonna like make the stretch and say like I'm wearing navy blue and like there's a little red here. Like
yeah, you are really going
Bears colors,
yeah,
you know.
And the polo itself has a little red. I mean, it is those are Bears colors.
The polo doesn't have some red. What do you mean? Oh, right.
What are you talking about? I know you can't
sweater,
smell.
I think you're talking about.
You're not also colorblind?
The colors. My wife might think I'm colorblind with some of the outfits I try to put together.
How was your Thanksgiving, EJ?
It was good. I know that I'm kind of the resident Thanksgiving hater at this point, but we had a nice time, a nice spread. We had some non-conventional Thanksgiving foods, which I was happy about.
Yeah, I saw your plate, and we worked in a couple lasagnas as well yesterday. EJ, your table looked very traditional Thanksgiving-y.
Yeah, well, we gotta please the crowd here. Some people might want some cranberry sauce and some stuffing, but for me, it's lasagna, it's beef ribs, it's
I didn't see the beef ribs.
It was kind of an
work.
interesting mix of foods, but I had a good meal. I had a nice time. It was good.
All right, EJ, let's get to the action on the field today. And the Eagles had some guys really banged up, it seemed like, during the week of practice, but most of them seemed to be active today. Give us the rundown.
Yeah, so you're right. Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley were the two that we had a close eye on throughout the week, and they're both good to go. They're both out here, expected to play. It really is, and Adoree Jackson was the other one. He obviously was evaluated for a concussion against the Cowboys. You leave that game thinking if he goes into concussion protocol, it's going to be hard for him to get out of the protocol in time for the game on Friday with a short week. But he never entered the protocol because he was just evaluated for a concussion. He was cleared after the game there. So obviously the secondary is still up in the air with Andrew Mukuba at safety or injured at, and leaving Sidney Brown as the next guy up at that position. But it could have been a lot worse injury-wise going into this game for sure. So, again, the Sidney Brown matchup is one that I've got my eye on here. I'm curious to see if they can insulate for him very often, if they can manage to limit how much he's on the field with maybe Cooper DeJean filtering in with some of those base snaps. But yeah, again, the injury situation was definitely more bleak going into the practice week.
EJ, do you believe what Bo was talking about at the market on Wednesday, that we could see a little bit more Cooper DeJean back there? Do you think that's something that Uncle Vic's down to toy with today?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's a big development to have Adoree Jackson in the lineup for that reason, because you feel probably better about having Cooper DeJean there at safety as a result. And the Bears use a decent amount of heavy personnel packages. They're top third in the league in 12 personnel usage in particular. So you'd expect that the Eagles could kind of sneak into their base defense a little bit more in this game, especially if Sidney Brown is struggling. That's to me a big matchup. The Bears, they like to run a lot of play action. They like to set the run game up and set the pass game up off of that. And, I feel like, Bo, you said it with our interview with Mita that, Ben Johnson's going to have a big circle around Sidney Brown in those situations. He is a guy who is obviously quick to fly downhill, very aggressive, very see ball, get ball. I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that aggressiveness at times, unless the Eagles can have a plan for that. So if it is Cooper DeJean in base, I think that again they might lean more into their base defense. So I think that would make a lot of sense.
Just to run down the inactives, a couple little interesting things to note here. Now, some of the normal ones, Lane Johnson, we know, is obviously down. Report today that he is hoping to come back for that Raiders game in a couple weeks. A.J. Dillon down, Mac McWilliams down, Sam Howell, third QB. Xavier Gibson's down, and we should note that Britton Covey is promoted from the practice squad for this game. He will be the primary returner, it sounds like. And then also a little bit interesting, EJ, that Josh Uche is down, given that Brandon Graham was injured during the week and he is up and active, but they're a little bit lighter there on the edge. Maybe that means that Nolan Smith is a little bit less on a pitch count. And then they also have promoted Patrick Johnson. So if they need a body, he can be there on the edge.
Yeah, I think you hit it right there. I think that Nolan Smith is, progressing into a little bit of a bigger role, but I also think Patrick Johnson offers more special teams value than Josh Uche. And I think if you're looking at like the back half of the edge rusher rotation, I think you feel better about having Brandon Graham there than Josh Uche. I think that, it was a little bit surprising, but it wasn't shocking for that reason. With Patrick Johnson up, I just think it's a numbers game there. Vic he's usually anti edge rush depth. It's not usually how he likes to construct it on game day. So he's already made some strides. He's already taken some concessions to Howie. I think it didn't surprise me that Josh Uche was kind of on the cutting room floor there.
So EJ, I took myself for a little walk earlier to get a nice bowl of ramen to feel human again, and I noticed some wind gusts out there today. How is it down at the stadium in South Philadelphia? And like, if the Eagles win the toss, is maybe defending a certain end zone more important than the other side of the stadium? Give us the EJ Smith weather report, please.
Yeah, no, it is very windy down here for sure. On my walk in, I was worrying, pull our viewers behind the screen here or behind the curtain here. I was like, is my hair going to be like totally screwed up by the time I walk into that stadium? Like, am I going to have to like redo everything in the bathroom here? But, it wasn't that bad. But it was pretty tough wind conditions. It does remind me of that Lions game from a couple weeks ago when it did affect the passing game for both teams. Obviously, the Bears play at Soldier Field. They're used to tough elements, but I do think it will have an effect on the game. Obviously it'll die down throughout as the night continues. But if you look at the flags on the uprights, or if you look at the flags around the perimeter of the stadium, it is definitely very windy down there. It's swirling around and all the normal stuff you see when it's windy at the lake.
And that makes us wonder about what the offensive game plan is going to be in this game against the Bears defense that has not been very good this season, except at forcing turnovers, right? And so we saw, it felt like some interesting things in the passing game last week. Jalen and AJ, I thought that was the most on the same page they've looked all season long. The running game has struggled. The offensive linemen have not been run blocking well. However, this could be another game where you think to yourself, okay, let's run. What are you expecting from Kevin Patullo today?
Yeah, Kevin Patullo kind of hinted at like some new wrinkles in the run game earlier this week, and I am curious to see what the run game looks like in this game. If you can't run against this Bears defense, it feels like, that's even a further level on the panic meter in terms of what the Eagles run game has been able to do this season. I think they should be able to get something going on the ground, whether that is quarterback inclusive or, whether it's under center. I think that there are going to be some new elements to the run game. And I think that, again, it's kind of like it's now or never for this Eagles ground game. So I think it's going to be a big part of the plan. This is the way they want to play. They want to be able to control games. They want to be able to out physical teams. And I think they're going to be able to do that, especially with the elements playing a factor where the pass game might not be as reliable because of the wind affecting Jalen Hurts and the way that we saw it against the Lions. We saw the pass game struggle at times because of those elements.
EJ, there's been an uptick in Tank Bigsby talk in my circles in the last couple days. If I set the line at 6.5 rushes today, is that an easy under for you, or do you think this is a game where he maybe gets a couple more? Let's change that, 5.5.
I'd probably take the under, but it's an interesting line. I think it's an interesting line. If you told me that they've really, I expect them to lean into the run game. So I think that's part of what makes it interesting here is if they, run the ball 30, 40 times, you would think the Tank would have a decent role in that. So, you're making me think. I think it's a well set line, but I'm still probably just taking the under on that one.
Okay.
All right, AJ, before we let you go, one, tell us what you want to tell us about the end zones. I think we need to get something on the record here. And then give us your prediction for the game.
All I'm saying is I took a picture of the stadium. I know that there were some reports that they're black end zones, but if you look at my picture, that looks like a white. Oh,
we
that
can't see
looks
it.
like a white end zone to me.
Is that covered?
No, it's just a white end zone. So I don't know. This one might be just let's see what Fran has to say about it.
Okay.
This is a flimsy argument on my part. It's pretty tough.
Especially since you didn't even hold the phone up to the camera at first.
Now, this may have come up during our Thanksgiving dinner, though. How many turkeys should you spend on like a guaranteed item if it's just one item?
It's a very good question.
17 turkeys. That's a little turkeys. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Fran wants that one back. So you got to ask him.
I don't know. All right. What do you got for this game?
Give me Eagles. I think I said Eagles 24, Bears 20 on Cuz's show. Something low scoring would be my guess. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think it'll be slow at the start, and I think the Eagles are going to try and grind this one out. I think they'll be able to. So give me Eagles 24-20.
All right, you got it, EJ. Thank you so much.
I'm very excited to watch Fran's segment now. I need to see how he responds.
I mean, I don't want to speak for Fran, but I'm not so sure that even merits a response.
All right, guys.
All right, EJ, we love you. We will talk to you during the post-game show. Enjoy the game.
All right.
All right, and with that, Jamie,
How about that guy with the plate of food just walking right in EJ's shot?
I know. I mean, I was hoping for a spill. I mean, that would have been to get that on camera. We could have gone viral.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Then you tag those posts like, "Hey, everybody, there's a Black Friday sale.
Yeah,
30 to 90% off."
Oh, you got a stain on your shirt. Head to allphly.com, 30%
Yeah.
off. It's basically free.
Let's go. Anyway, today, Malcolm Jenkins will be inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame. And earlier today, before he went to the link, before he went to soak in the adoration of the crowd, he came to PHLY first. That's where he came this morning.
You do.
Jamie let him in this morning at 7:30. Jamie's just going dusk till dawn at the offices here today. And Malcolm Jenkins sat down with me and we talked about a bunch of things. You can see this extended interview this weekend on our PHLY YouTube page. But for now, a little taste with Malcolm Jenkins talking about life after football and his expectations for what his legacy will be. And a very exciting moment here. We've got on the day that he goes into the Eagles Hall of Fame, Hall of Famer, Malcolm Jenkins. Thanks for joining us, Malcolm.
I appreciate you having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What an honor.
Yeah, it's humbling, to say the least, for sure.
Now, I know you wrote about this for the Eagles website, just the importance that you have always placed on legacy. So how much do you feel like this cements that legacy, and what do you feel like your legacy is as an Eagle?
Honestly, I think the exciting part about legacy is that it's ongoing. And I think that's the reason for, today is that the legacy extended beyond what we did on the field, what happened years ago, but the fact that it still has meaning to fan base, to the city, now. And that and that legacy continues to be built upon, I think is the most important thing. So to me, it's really not like it's not like the finish line.
Sure.
It is very much kind of like an intermission.
Okay.
Take the moment to see how far we've come, how much we've done, and then, where we're going, taking a look ahead at what's to come.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about this with doing the show with BG this year, about, the issues that some guys might have in terms of finding their identity after football, right? And he's going back and forth. Mm-hmm. How have you navigated that as you talk about this as an intermission, sort of finding out who you are post football?
Oh, it's difficult. And even somebody like me who has so much going on,
always,
you still find that identity crisis. And what I've been forced to do, what I forced myself to do, is to stay away from the game a little bit. Mm-hmm. And what that, painfully forced me to figure out was like, how do I apply all of the experiences and knowledge that I've, built up over a career in this sport. It's like, what does that matter outside of this sport? And I've had to, come to terms with that. And at first, there doesn't seem to me much correlation. But after a couple years of exploration, really diving deep, you see that it's connected to everything, and that all that I was able to, accomplish as an athlete was because of these core principles of myself. And it'll be the same things that make me a great father, a great member of the community, et cetera. Those things don't just stop on the football field.
Sure.
Yeah. And so it takes time, and it's scary for us to imagine being a rookie at another place and to do some of that soul searching, especially when it's so comfortable to be
Right.
praised and to be looked at in that uniform. But the reality is it dies for all of us. And I think, some of us take a little longer to come to terms with that than others.
Well, yeah, it's interesting from you, as you say, someone who, even when you were playing, had so much else going on, that you're still going through that, but you find that the attention to detail, the care, the like wanting to be a part of a team, all of that stuff, it does translate.
Yeah. 100%, and you realize that the world wants those things. Like,
Yeah, amen.
The world is searching for people who are dedicated, who understand what discipline is, who understand that things are bigger, who understand chasing things that are bigger than themselves, leadership, conflict, all of these things that we've been trained to do since we were 6-7 years old.
Yeah,
you find are at a premium, and we are experts at doing it, and so it takes a little reframing.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, it takes a little reframing, but I think even I had to stop using the word retired because it really doesn't accurately, say what
It's
the
the
situation
meme. It's the
I
meme
am.
of like, this 35-year-old football player. What a miracle that he can still be on the field. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, oh, what a young man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to do too, and there's so much to explore, so much time that we've given to the game that I think, we almost are afraid to take that time back and turn it inward. But hopefully, my journey has been an example in multiple ways, not only how to do more than just play ball while you're kind of in it and still play at a high level, but how to transition out of it and continue to have a sense of identity, continue to build upon the things that you built while you weren't playing, and just, an example of a curious life.
So in wanting to give yourself space from football, was the photography like the first like taste that you would give yourself to go back?
No, honestly, it was really the writing was first. So even like jumping into post my career with the launch of my memoir, so I wrote a book.
Tell the people so they can.
Yeah, it's called What Winners Won't Tell You. It's my memoir. It goes through kind of like my upbringing all the way through my retirement and just really what I realized was most important to my story, the ups and downs, et cetera. It's really, really vulnerable story, so definitely check it out. But I think that really started my journey, and I left that end of that book ended like open-ended. There was no hard close. It was kind of like, I know I'm done with football, and let's see what I do next.
Yeah.
And so in the storytelling, I dove into my love for art and just kind of spent a lot of time with different people, and that perspective has really helped me dive into some of these other things that I enjoy, like photography, which I thought was like the perfect example of how to show up in the same space with a different perspective.
Yeah.
So just that practice alone is giving me the, that those waking up the muscle memory of being a rookie, having to be prepared, having to think ahead and learn some things, be curious, all of which I think are very natural once we put ourselves back in that mindset. But yeah, you got to start doing something. You can't, otherwise I'll be in the house watching film all day.
Right. Right. Well, it's funny. I love those clips of you from NFL films when you're, photographing the game and you're calling out what play is coming next. Like, obviously it helps you because you know where the ball is coming. But are you able to turn that off ever? Or like
No.
if you have a football game on, it's like you all of a sudden are into a beautiful mind. Like,
Yeah, I can't watch football just for the sake of the game. I'm always like, oh, this is a 4-by-1 situation. throw this backside X
Right.
slant or okay.
Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and they live stream over 780,000 events each year with early payout offers across the NBA and NHL. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Picture this. It's a man cave of your dreams. One that actually feels like your dream setup. Well, thanks to our friends at Ashley, that could be your reality. We're giving away a $2,500 Ashley Furniture gift card. So go big on a sectional, add some stylish pieces, or just trick out your space for any game day setup. It's all up to you. Just visit ashleyfancave.com, see if you're eligible, fill out the form, and boom, you're entered. That easy. It's that simple. Enter now, and you might be watching the next big game in a fan cave built by you, courtesy of Ashley. Again, that's ashleyfancave.com.
All right, we are back on the PHLY Eagles pregame show. Thanks to Malcolm Jenkins for spending some time with us. Do check out the full video that will go up this weekend. I asked Malcolm Jenkins about some of the comparisons between the way he left the Eagles when it seemed like there was a disconnect between the team wanting the quarterback to be the leader and him having that leadership position with what's going on with the Eagles right now with Jalen Hurts. He had some interesting things to say about that, and also what it might have been like to play for Vic Fangio. So a lot of good football talk in there. And speaking of football talk, let's send it to a different fan cave. That's right, Fran's fan cave, Fran's film room. Although it's not a cave, it's more of an attic. What do we call it?
I mean, it's like
Alcove?
got the sloped ceiling. It's
Okay.
not quite. It's not quite an attic. It's like, right under the roof. Hold on, real quick. I got. You guys, give me a sec. I'm just clearing out my desk. Hold on. All right, we're good.
Where were you this morning, Fran?
It was a really busy morning. I had to take a quick trip down to South Philly, but I got back in time for the show, so I'm glad.
Good.
Great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. What a weird joke from EJ, as if we all weren't going to see the end zone for 3 hours on TV.
Very bizarre. Although, I respect that his head's in the game, even if he can't quite execute. That's okay. All right, Fran, let's talk some of the specifics of what to expect today. And we were talking about what we expect Kevin Patullo to do in this game. Why is it the case that we've got the professor in the chat saying the Eagles need to run the ball outside today?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Honestly, when I've watched the Bears, I do think that this is a team that you can get after them on the inside as well. Look, I do like the idea of running outside, considering the fact that you've got two of their DBs coming off injured reserve, going to be playing for the first time in a while. Jalen Johnson, first time all season, getting those guys out in the field. Test them a little bit. I think you got kind of putting those guys through the paces. I don't think that that's a bad strategy. Having the backup linebackers out in the field, those guys aren't necessarily. Ruben Hippolyte is a guy that's got some speed sideline to sideline, but he's been banged up. These other guys, DeMarco Jackson, not known for his sideline to sideline range. I think that you can get the edge on these guys, but you should be able to get some movement up front as well.
Fran, the Bears defense up there, the league leaders in turnovers. What does Jalen and the Eagles offense need to avoid today through the air? What is their strength?
I think when you going back and just kind of watching all the turnovers, just to see like, all right, are there some themes that pop up? I think the big thing is that they've got guys that have just been kind of we know how this goes, right? There's certainly a level of turnover luck involved. Number one, the guys getting home for sacks, just making sure that they're going for the ball. So Jalen's got to be cognizant of that. But then you've got Nashawn Wright, the corner on the outside, who I think he's got league leading 6 interceptions this year. He's had like 1 in his previous in the rest of his career. This is a guy who's got great length. He can take the ball away. Those guys that have that arm length, that have that ability to go up and attack the football, they could be a deterrent for those jump ball situations. So, maybe this is not a game where you're just kind of chucking it up to AJ Brown or you're chucking it up to Devontae Smith and saying, go get it, because you're going up against a guy that has that pterodactyl arm length, that pterodactyl wingspan. But this is a guy that you can run by. He can give up some big plays. So it's definitely feast or famine when you're looking at this Bears defense. They have really lived and died by the big play over the course of this season.
Speaking my language with pterodactyl wingspan, this is bringing me back home. What you don't want is the Carnotaurus wingspan.
Oh, I mean, that's now we're talking. I'm trying to. That's like David Molk.
Yeah, David Molk. That's a good pull. All right, other side of the ball. What do we expect from the Bears offense? Obviously, Ben Johnson can dial it up. The man can design, but Caleb Williams likely to maybe give the Eagles a chance today.
Yeah, I think that when you look at Caleb Williams, what he has done such a good job of this season is that he's really cut down on all the negative plays. And the really big thing has been the sack avoidance, his ability to get out of pressure. He was sacked at such a high rate last year, and whether it's by athleticism or by his strength, his ability to really get out of trouble has stood out on film. And also, too, the way that they play has helped him. And they are one of the best teams when it comes to sack rate, pressure rate, like whatever you want to use as your judge to say, like, all right, our defensive line's getting home to impact the quarterback. The fact that they've been really effective with their rushing attack, and they've been one of the highest rate play action teams in football and one of the most effective play action teams in football. I think that's allowed Caleb Williams more freedom and more comfort to be able to say, all right, like I can play a little bit looser. And that is one of the things about this offense, just because I watched a lot of them in the last week. But I've been keeping my eye on it, just kind of dipping in. We watch a game here, game there throughout the course of the fall, just because I was intrigued to see what Caleb Williams would look like in year 2, first year with Ben Johnson. And they do some really fun things. It's a really sound offense. They do a good job of finding space for their playmakers and scheming guys open. But then if you take that away, all right, though, Caleb Williams does have the ability to get out of dodge and make a play. So there are definitely a lot of facets that you have to stop when you look at this offense today.
So where do you think it starts for Vic?
I honestly think, I was talking with Cuz and with VG earlier. I think that it would be a similar kind of plan of attack to what you did to Baker Mayfield, to what you did to Bo Nix, to what you did in that second game against Jackson Dart, where you are trying to keep, it's more a coverage type of game and contain up front. I don't think this is high volume blitz. I don't think this is throw the kitchen sink at Caleb Williams. I think this is more, let's try and see if we can confuse him, force him to hold on to the football. He wants to do that by nature anyway. So I think he's not necessarily a guy that is always going to throw it into trouble. He's done it, and that even goes back to last year when things were bad. He's not a high volume interception quarterback. He's just going to spray it. He could be erratic. And so I think that's the big thing, is if you can get him to play a little bit faster, second guess what he's seeing, I think that's when the accuracy issues can come into play. If you are able to get home and get him down, that's great. I think they'll be very selective with how aggressive they are in trying to send extra rushers at him over the course of this game.
Fran, I haven't asked you this off the camera, so I might as well ask you on the camera. How do you enjoy the Prime broadcast? And which feed do you go to? Are you watching the All 22 a lot? Like, tell us about how you're viewing today's game being on Prime.
I think you would think like, oh, I'm going to watch the All 22 broadcast. I actually I want to be able to get as much of like the typical announcer broadcast, just to kind of experience it from the fans' angle. I'm going to watch the All 22 angle anyway. So if anything, if people are complaining about something, or I want to be able to see what everybody else is seeing, so that way when I get asked about it later, I'm not having to grasp for straws that way.
You need to come here and get the 2 TVs set up, watch both at the same time.
That's right. That's a good point.
Bet if I won $1 million, I could make that happen. All right, Fran, give us your prediction. What do you got?
my wife and son, they're out seeing family this afternoon. They're actually should be back here in 5 minutes. They'll be here before kickoff. And they asked before they walked out the door, like, how are we feeling about today? I was a little bit nervous when we did the panic meter on the Eagles offense earlier this week. I was the highest, and I still am, like, big picture this season. I just feel like the Eagles roll today. This feels like the Eagles win big. I think that they're able to figure a couple things out. I woke up and a little maybe it's all the Thanksgiving food left over from the itis yesterday. I was feeling in between games, but I think that when you're looking at this offense, I've been wrong before. I felt it last week. I feel like they're able to figure things out here going up against this Bears defense. I think Eagles win. Let's call it, I need 30. I need more than 31 for Swooper. So let's call it 32-17.
Okay. I like that. Well, friend, we will talk to you in the postgame show afterwards. Enjoy the game. And I don't know. Good luck with the paint.
It's a nice sweatshirt, friend.
Yeah, it's a nice sweatshirt. But what would you say about somebody who isn't taking advantage of this Black Friday deal?
I would say that you are foolish. I would say that you were. I would say you are as down bad. If you are not taking advantage of this Black Friday sale, you are as down bad as someone who is partaking in super sarcasting, and you are just living off of an item that lasted week after week after week. It's just getting you point after point. EJ has won one item in 3 weeks outside of this one. And honestly, that is why he is right. I bid a lot for this the pain in the end zones one. If I was going head to head with you on it, I would have let you take it. I couldn't let him get the win because honestly, if I let him take it, he's already guaranteed 1 point. Yeah. I couldn't let him get the second. So I had to come away with that item.
Good for you. I appreciate that. All right. We'll see you soon, friend.
See you guys.
Enjoy the game. All right. We gotta speed through our Bet365 predictions and bets here. What do you got for your best bet here, Jamie?
I am going, the one up on the site right now, the PHLY custom same game parlay is a little A.J. Brown tutty. Dallas Goedert, 50 plus receiving yards, and the Eagles just got to win the game. You get a little 8-1 return on that. Not too shabby. I also feel, I felt before all the linebacker injuries for the Bears that Dallas Goedert was finally going to have a game. He feels like the forgotten about guy in this offense. So I'm going Goedert to score a touchdown. Plus 165. I think Tank Bigsby. I mostly took this one because of the number. Plus 1,500. Wow. Tank Bigsby to get 50 yards at plus 1,500?
Is that the craziest thing? Yeah, plus 1,500.
That's sweet.
Those are good odds.
Yeah. And then I'm taking DJ Moore, the Emotep alum, hometown kid, comes 60 plus receiving yards. I feel like Dory Jackson / Sidney Brown. Yeah, there's some capabilities there to take advantage. So I'll take DJ Moore over 60.
All right, I'm with you on Bigsby. We have to move studios because I lost the studio betting on Tank Bigsby last week, but I'm hoping that I can get us enough money as a company to pay for new studios.
Double down.
So I'm doubling down. Tank Bigsby over 13.5 rushing yards, minus 115. I'm going Caleb Williams to throw a pick today.
I like that.
Minus 110.
Quinyon.
Calling it. He can't catch the ball, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say he throws it to Quinyon and bounces off of Quinyon's hands, and then Reed Blankenship picks it up.
Okay. Back-to-back weeks for Reed.
There you go. Nice. And then I'm going AJ Brown. Call me a fool.
2-1
if you want to. And maybe the wind is making me a little bit nervous here, but plus 200 for AJ Brown to get 80 yards receiving. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson's back. I'm not worried about it. Let's see what happens. I thought AJ looked good last week for the first time.
Yeah, really they did look good. That's 2-1 action on that.
Yeah, come on.
That's nice. Yeah.
All right. Give me your prediction.
I'm with Fran. This line should not be 7,
it is.
7.5. This is a Lions telling me something line. And when I guessed when this game first, when last week ended, I was like, Eagles are probably going to be -4, -4.5. The fact that it's 7 and 7.5 tells me that the Eagles roll. Like this is, I don't feel the same confidence. I'm kind of line rating on this one. I don't feel that deep in my gut that they're going to roll, but the line is telling me that they're going to roll. I'm going to go Eagles 28, Bears 17.
Oh!
A little 11-point victory.
That's exactly the score I was going to predict.
Really?
Yes. Score brothers. 28-17. That's what it's going to be.
28.
You don't even need to watch the game.
Yeah.
Go take a nap. We'll
Locked
see you in
up.
3 hours for the postgame show. The Eagles have won 28-17.
Nice.
There you go.
Vinny Curry will be here soon. We'll
Yeah.
celebrate.
I'm with you. I think the Eagles take care of business today.
Yeah. That line should not be 7.
I thought about the defense and maybe even shutting him down even more, but I'm giving Ben Johnson some credit here, and I'm worried about Sidney Brown. I think the Eagles score on offense.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Saquon looks okay today.
Okay.
Which would be nice.
All right. That's all we got. We are like seconds from kickoff. So go ahead, enjoy the game, everybody. We will talk to you at halftime, the two of us. And then, of course, the post-game show with Vinny Curry and maybe some other surprises all coming your way after the game. For all of us here.
And real quick, shout out to Mission Barbecue for a delicious spread.
Yes.
I had to fill up on some potatoes.
Banana pudding, yeah.
Banana pudding with vanilla wafers. Delightful. So thank you, Mission Barbecue. Go hit up one of your local Mission Barbecues.
Shout out to Lindsay for getting it done on the production end today. And remember, Black Friday, this is your chance. 30 to 90% off the merch at PHLY. All that good stuff. We will talk to you after the game, everybody. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.